Now, if you're one of the, unfortunately, millions of Americans that are still listening to Dr. Fauci in order to, I don't know, let him dictate your life or let him, control what you do in your own universe, you probably have seen this, okay? Now, Dr. Fauci said he was backed into a corner by somebody in the fake news. I believe it was CBS this time. And so the reporter basically said, do you think that families can still gather for Christmas, or is it just too soon to tell? And of course, Dr. Fauci, who would like for us all to be locked down forever, said, well, it's just too soon to tell whether or not the people are going to be able to gather with their families during Christmas. And of course, that is crazy, right? That is legitimately insane. And of course, most thinking people rose up against this. There was a huge backlash against Dr. Fauci. Now look, Dr. Fauci is not used to having backlash against him. Dr. Fauci is used to having people worship him. So of course he cleaned it up and said, oh, my words, they're being misinterpreted. I did not say that you couldn't be with your family for Christmas, etc., etc. Of course this is what he said. Of course this is exactly what he meant. But in this case, he was saying the quiet part out loud. And I want you to think of something, folks. I want you to think of everybody that is watching out here. I want you to think about the fact that DC hacks and bureaucrats like Dr. Fauci, like Walensky, who's the head of the CDC, like even Gavin Newsom, who is somehow still governor of California, these people have more power today because of the coronavirus pandemic, which, by the way, was started by China. These people have more power because of this coronavirus pandemic than they have ever had at any point in recent memory. And when you give these politicians this much power, when you give these bureaucrats and DC hacks like Dr. Fauci this much control, these people do not want to give it up. So do I think it was a mistake that Dr. Fauci said that it was too soon to tell whether or not people could celebrate Christmas with their families? I do not think that it was a mistake. I think that he was just saying the quiet part out loud. So my advice to you is this: stop listening to Dr. Fauci, stop listening to Walensky, stop listening to all of these DC hacks and bureaucrats who want you to be afraid of your own shadow, and by the way, afraid of your family and friends and afraid of your fellow neighbors for as long as humanly possible, because this is how they have gotten this much power, and your fear is how they will continue to retain this much power. So be like me. I stopped listening to Dr. Fauci sometime in June of 2020 because that man is just not relevant in my life anymore. That man or anyone else will not control whether or not I spend Christmas with my family, and they should not control how you spend your time either, whether it's Christmas, Thanksgiving, the holidays, or just going about your day-to-day life. Stop listening to these people.